Hello, my beautiful buds. Welcome back to my channel, Sprouts with Joy. My name is Joy.
My name is Clay.
And if you like to talk about plants, you're in the right place. So if you didn't know, this is my husband.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah. And he has some plants that need to be repotted. And in a previous video, if you watched like towards the end, he was mourning about how I need to repot his plants that are in his office.
I feel like I'm bringing my plants to the doctor. Like, it's been a long time. We've skipped several checkups and they all have health issues.
Honestly, no, I'm actually really impressed with how well you've done with them. They're pretty much healthy.
I will say, like, I've picked up a lot of tips from watching your videos and also just being around. So, like, I had a lot of misconceptions about caring for plants.
Honestly, me too.
And I feel like I've been better.
Yay.
So I actually do stand by them, but maybe I'll tell the course of care of the plants as we bring them out.
Yeah, sure. Well,
okay.
Also, I basically figured, I was like, well, hey, if we're going to repot your office plants, why don't we do it together and make a Q&A out of it? So I asked you guys, do you have any questions for my husband and I to answer? So we'll also be answering those questions.
Indeed.
All right, which plant do you want to repot first?
Well, should I do like favorite to least favorite, or biggest to smallest, or smallest to biggest?
Let's do smallest to biggest.
Okay. So the smallest plant in my office is this cactus.
Here, do you want to show it to the camera?
Oh, okay. There. Oh.
You might need to like put your hand behind it to get it to focus, you know?
Look, oh, it's focused.
Yeah. See?
There he is. So
I don't know what specific variety of cactus it is. It just came from Home Depot and I got it for free. It actually looked really sad when I first bought it.
yeah, it's like probably doubled in size since when I first got it.
Frankly, I just had assumed that it died, but it's actually doing really well.
So like you can kind of see it's like got two humps. You know, like
Yes,
it was a circle
yeah.
at first.
Yeah.
And now it is definitely like it's like all of like from where my finger is above is like totally
Yeah, he's small but
growth
mighty.
explosion.
I'm gonna grab some gloves because self-explanatory.
It is sharp.
Yeah.
While she's doing that, I will tell you the first plant I ever owned was a cactus named George, and I took it to college with me, and I put it on my windowsill, and I forgot about it over several breaks, and it held on for a long time, but eventually it did go into that dark night of death. I remember one time I was like, so I did not change my bed sheets very often in college, and one time I was changing it, and like,
I love the honesty.
I just heard like this dry cracking sound, and I was like, in that moment I knew what had happened. And so this has been like a very healing experience for me, very cathartic to
It's redemptive.
flourish a little. Now I will say on my old cactus, the way that it grew like small like balls of new cacti onto itself, and so it was more satisfying to watch grow, I think. But this one is fun as well.
Yeah, that's actually kind of nice to not be the only person talking. Okay. Ooh. Actually, the first, or one of the questions is from Maddie from college.
Oh.
And she was
nice.
asking if you have your own plants. So
So I
sort
do.
of self-explanatory.
I have 5 of them here. Yes, you will get to meet them all over the course of this video. Thank you for the question, Maddie.
Another question is, does he like plants?
I think liking something is like exists on a spectrum, because so I would answer this question yes, but given the fact that I'm talking to a very specific demographic compared to y'all, probably not at quite as much as you guys, but I love having plants as decorations. I really think that it changes the feel of my workspace where I have them. It really sort of takes it over the edge. Some people at work say I have the trendiest office space. So
I did help you decorate it.
Yeah, and I think the plants really make it a nice, homey place, which for what I do, like, it's great to help people feel at home. And so it's great to have the plants there.
I feel like I need like tongs for this or something. Hey, look, he's got some roots coming out the bottom.
So what's funny to me about the cactus is I never have looked up like how to take care of a cactus or anything like that. And with my last cactus,
fun. Hang on.
Oh my goodness. Do you want like chopsticks?
I might need something. I wish that we had like tongs that have silicone on them or something, but we just don't. That would be like the easiest way to do it. I don't know if I've ever repotted a cactus before.
Well, okay, so I brought you some different
Okay, good.
utensils.
Thank you. I appreciate that help.
But so with my last cactus, like I said, I underwatered it, which, like, you know, you think to yourself, cactus, you know, it lives in, here, let me scoop.
Thank you.
It lives in the desert. It doesn't need water in the same capacity that other plants do. And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, and I do mean that. Feel free to correct me. Do you need more dirt right now? Soil? I don't know the technical term.
Look at that.
So what's interesting is with this guy, I water it on the same schedule as I water all my plants. Every Monday, the first thing that I do when I get to work is I fill up my coffee kettle. I got like a hot pot that I use to make ramen noodles and coffee and things like that. And I come into my office and I just fill up all my plants with water until I can see that it's like really made its way into the whole plant. And then I take my pothos to the sink and I fill it up with water in the sink. And sometimes I forget that it's there and I have to come in the next day and take it out.
I have noticed it in the office because we technically work in the same place, but I mostly work from home. And when I go in there, sometimes
I'll leave this here.
Sometimes it's like, oh.
Yeah, that's
Clay's pothos in the sink.
Sometimes in the sink. He likes it, you know, sometimes he has wanderlust, so he likes to, you know, get out of the house a little bit.
Yeah.
Get out of the office. But like,
and it works. It's good. And
yeah, like it's been growing super well. So
yeah, and it's a common misconception that cacti like don't ever need water ever, and that misconception kills them sometimes.
So here, I do have one question.
Yeah.
Is that pot gonna still? No, it will still fit on my windowsill because I've got a other like 3 or 4 inch pot.
Yeah, hopefully it does.
Well. So like one thing that's nice about my office is I've got this like
window.
very large north facing window.
Is it north facing? I feel like it's like northeast. Like it has a little bit.
Yeah, no, it might be a little east.
You get sun direct sunlight. Okay, we should probably answer some more of the actual questions. 2 people asked what's his favorite plant in your collection. So which of my plants do you like?
That's a good question. I would say, do we need to like pack that down at all?
I mean, we'll like water it once we're done, but it's pretty much. I'd say it's in there. It's in there.
So my favorite plant in your collection is probably I need to take like a little inventory. Well, I think so. The first thing that comes to mind is the Thai constellation.
Yeah.
And for a while, I didn't know if it was Thai constellation or Tide constellation.
Oh, really?
I just didn't know. Like, you know, we say the things.
Do you see these?
Oh, dude, it looks like a worm coming out of it. We're gonna have to like use the jaws of life to cut it out of that.
Yeah, we might need to. Honestly, I'm really impressed. Like, I can feel these roots around here.
I'm telling you,
this is a climbing aloe that was actually a pup from my plant, and you probably taken better care of this climbing aloe than I've taken care of mine. Because this was on like a list of like my neglected plants. So
the reason I like the Thai constellation is because of the variegation. Variegation is like one of the most interesting things that I've learned about secondhand from you.
yes.
And like I really do think it increases the beauty of the plants. But I think in some cases it's so slight.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It was dying anyways.
In some cases, it's so slight that it's like not really doing a whole lot. But on your Tide constellation, like you get this like real bright, deep, like full white portions of the leaves.
I think I need scissors.
This reminds me of like the nose of a mole. You know what I mean? Just
like a star nose.
Just
mole.
like.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's not very fun to look at.
Yeah, go ahead and why don't you grab a pair of scissors real fast?
Oh my gosh.
Or actually, well, you're still talking. I can do it.
No.
No? No? Alright, this is like one of my favorite kinds of pots, so you better be happy that I'm using it on this plant.
Ooh.
I'm gonna need to like get a refill on some pots after this.
So yeah, I would say the Thai constellation
Oh my gosh.
is up there.
These are disgusting, but beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, this plant is not a looker. It's like, so it reminds me, I will say this, it reminds me of being in college because you were really in a succulent phase at that point. And
That's
so,
true.
Oh my gosh.
Holy moly. What the heck?
This is like the equivalent of when you go to the doctor and like, I don't even know. Or maybe it's more like when you go to the dentist and you haven't brushed your teeth in a long time.
Oh.
Oh, that's so uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking around. I think the other plants that I like in your collection that jump out at me are like some of these guys.
The Rephotophora tetrasperma.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like the ones that have the holes in the leaves.
Yeah, okay, so fenestration, so you like Monstera and Rephotophora. And
yeah, those ones are pretty cool. I like it when the plants present. Oh my gosh, that is so crazy.
They do. And the soil sucks, so I'm happy to repot this.
So what's interesting is, so the question said, my favorite plant in your collection, but my favorite plant that we own together is not in your collection because you don't like my favorite kind of plant.
What is it?
Ivy.
Oh.
I don't think you have like a single ivy.
I'm not a massive fan.
And ivy is maybe that's my hot take. Is I like
ivy is not incredibly popular in the houseplant community, actually.
Well, I think it is an extremely dignified plant.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking earlier today when I was bringing the plants home why I like ivy so much, and I don't know if I got very far. I couldn't figure out why. I didn't know if it was because it reminds me of like England for some reason.
Well, like D&D, maybe. Well,
maybe, but like when I think of ivy, I think of Europe and
fantasy
like
settings.
Lush
That's
things. Yeah, and so I don't know. I think ivy looks super cool, and it's my favorite.
Well, that sort of brings us into
plant that I own.
What are some of Clay's hobbies?
Oh boy, you really
I like the same thing.
So this is
a lot of the same things.
That's true. So. Unsolicited dating advice for y'all. Find someone that enjoys the things that you enjoy.
And like you can have your own thing. Like my thing is mostly plants.
Or like, yeah, let me rephrase. Find someone who enjoys things. Because like when we met, I didn't enjoy houseplants. I never envisioned myself doing houseplant things. But like I'm having fun doing this. I can appreciate your passion for it. And because I'm passionate about you, I don't know, I like having fun. But sometimes I feel like even people who have some hobbies, they don't enjoy things. They enjoy winning. Like it's not the thing that they enjoy. It's not the beauty of the thing or the.
We're really getting philosophical right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's too.
No, I think it's great.
But like, you know what I mean? Like people who have a general, it's like a dispositional thing. Like, do you enjoy being alive? You know, are there things like, do you partake in the wonder of life?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I think that's why I can appreciate plants.
So Clay, what are your hobbies?
Okay, so my hobbies. So when I was like in high school and growing up, I like to think I was a like well-rounded person in terms of my interests. So I did a lot of sports. I worked out a lot. Like I loved going to the gym. So that was like one aspect. And I also really enjoyed theater and singing and music. So I was in like the marching band and the choir and drumming and like things like that. And then I also, as like a third component, was like total nerd, Pokemon, Nintendo. Like we owned every Nintendo system starting with the Nintendo 64 between me and my brothers. And we would play Super Smash Brothers all the time. We loved it. And then when I went to college, I wasn't good enough to play college sports, and I didn't have the time to do like theater in college, which is like a huge regret of mine.
Honestly, same.
But I still played video games, and like I got into like Dungeons and Dragons a little bit, and so those like my interests are like stereotypically nerdy.
Are you going to talk about your trading card game habits?
I do. So I do enjoy a good trading card game once in a while. Like Joy, I feel like the feeling that Joy gets when she sees like a plant sale online is the same feeling that I get when I realize I need to drop off our daughter at my parents' house because I know I'm going to be passing the trading card store.
Yeah,
and
so
I'm
like namely Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, stuff like that.
I mean, I won't make any excuse for it. I do it. I think it's fun.
It's good.
I think it's fun.
It's fun. And I love Pokemon, like the video games and like anime to an extent. Not so much the anime, more so the video games. Although I like anime in general. We both do. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we...
I will say, so two things that I don't typically name as hobbies, but that definitely are. Drumming is a massive hobby of mine. Yeah. So like I'm a drummer. I love performing music, and the kind of music that I play is not primarily performative, but like I've been thinking more recently how much I enjoy. Like I don't think I would enjoy drumming as much if I didn't get to do it with a band and with other humans.
Yes.
So like that's an integral part of it for me, but I do love drumming. It's so much fun. And then reading. Like I read a lot, and I don't get to read all the things that I would like to read all the time, but I'm very into reading and ideas and thinking and dialoguing about ideas. So that's a hobby of mine.
You're in a book club.
I am in a book club. I'm in multiple book clubs, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I enjoy like a lot of other just like social things. Like I'm not super into coffee. Like I don't.
You're not a coffee snob.
I'm not a coffee snob, but I can enjoy. I can like lean into that. You know, I'm not like a wine connoisseur, but I can like lean into that a little bit, like amongst friends or things like that. So I all that kind of stuff. I like board games.
Oh yeah.
I like things.
You can keep going.
I do want to say this is the plant.
The pothos.
This is the plant that I sometimes leave in the sink and it gets upset with me.
But also, honestly, it's grown really nicely.
Like when I was on my paternity leave recently, I was really concerned about my plants, but I feel like they've bounced back.
Yeah, they're all like, pretty hardy plants.
Like if you want to know, like the one of the reasons I love this plant is because it's so communicative. Like
yes,
when
it's vocal. Yes.
When it's thirsty, it's like the leaves get so like papery sad. And it droops. And it's like some of its leaves have like yellowed and
that's pretty
dropped
normal.
Off. Yeah. But I think that's more because it's outgrowing its pot and is being normal than anything else.
Yeah, totally. All right, another question is how did you two meet? Which is sort of there's a lot to that, and I feel like it's going to be kind of hard to explain in a video.
Names. This is a story that you could tell at a lot of different
It's very multi-layered,
lengths.
And you could spend like 30 minutes talking about it.
Yeah, like
or like
there's some
10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah, like there are some starting points to the story that go back to like when we were 10 years old. And like I feel like that's when things like that's you could start then if you wanted to.
I suppose. Theoretically.
But the short answer is that we had a mutual friend, but we were going to different schools in our freshman year of college. Yeah. So freshman year of college, it was the spring of 2017. We were all Twitter-pated, you know. Like me and my friend group, we were going to school in Indiana. We were all like going through a relatively difficult thing. So I was going through a really hard breakup. There was another guy in that friend group who was going through a breakup. And like breakups and like harder things than that. But our sadness and our difficulty, we sort of like drew together in the midst of that. And one of those friends, Desiree, had sort of invited Joy up from their hometown in Fort Lauderdale to sort of be together as, you know, to support her.
So Desiree is my best friend since we're like 4 years old, and we went to 2 different colleges, but like I went to University of Florida my freshman year, but I was honestly really unhappy there because it's like 50,000 students and it just wasn't a good fit for me. Just I went through like a lot of difficult things like in terms of mental health and stuff while I was there. But my best friend was up at the same college where you were at, and she was telling me like all freshman year about her experiences, and I really more and more was kind of wanting to transfer there, but fearful because it was all the way in Indiana. But I did take the plunge and I decided to visit her, you know, to spend time with her because she was going through a really hard time, but also to kind of check out the college.
Yeah.
So go on.
So Desiree actually borrowed my car to pick up Joy from the airport.
So yeah, I met his car. I met his car before I met him.
Thing. But yeah, so then as Desiree was sort of bringing Joy around that week, because I think your school was already out for you. It was late in the spring semester, but it was like not even finals week for us. So we were still chilling, you know, having a lot of fun. And so like, I don't know, we just became quick friends. We
had a lot of shared hobbies really and both like Pokemon, so we talked a lot about Pokemon.
And so then I shortly thereafter went down to Florida to visit Desiree, and while I was there, I was like, "Hey Des, you know, is there anybody I could stay with?" And she was like, "Oh, you remember that girl Joy?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Oh, well, you should stay with her." And so I stayed with Joy and Joy's family and got to know all of them. And that was sort of the time where I was like the couple of weeks leading up to that visit to Florida.
We started talking and like FaceTiming.
Yeah.
And at first we were actually playing Pokemon online together and like talking on the phone while we did that. But then we started just talking on the phone for hours and hours until like 3 a.m. every night. And that pretty much continued all that summer, and we decided to start dating. Yeah.
And Joy transferred to Taylor, where we were going to school.
Yeah.
Up in Indiana. And yeah, the rest is history, I guess.
The rest is history.
We hung out a lot. I actually flew Joy up to Cleveland that summer before we even got to school together so that she could meet my family and we could sort of like, you know, make things official. But
yeah. Also, this is your Ivy.
Yes, this is my Ivy. It's long.
He's long. But yeah, I'm honestly really impressed because Ivy are not typically considered super easy to take care of. I don't know.
Every Monday,
they tend to be,
I water it. That is my secret.
Yeah, they tend to be fairly like prone to spider mites, I think. So I'm just checking, but I don't see anything. Just good.
Hopefully he doesn't come to the plant hospital and contract an illness.
I don't know for sure if he'll need to be repotted. Actually, I don't know. I'm not totally convinced that he needs to be repotted based on like the way that the soil is. Because I repotted him not that long ago, like a year ago.
Do you think it's worth it to like trim and re-stick some of the stuff?
Sure.
It's like this side has like almost nothing coming out.
Yeah, sure. We can do that. One of the questions actually was like, what's the most interesting date that you've been on?
Oh, I would say this is after we were married, but our date to Chicago.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
The most interesting.
Yeah, and we made a video out of it and got to meet Becca. Oh baby.
Sad. Is it bad if the leaves are facing down?
So I did that incorrectly. Go ahead and flip it around.
But like,
I wasn't thinking. All right, we had to replace the battery. So that's done. Where were we?
Most interesting date.
Oh yeah, going to Chicago. I made a video where we went plant shopping, and I got to meet Becca and Nicole, which was really fun.
It was our first date that took us across state lines.
Yes, and it was our first like overnight away from our daughter, actually, I think.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like fun stuff we did in college. I know we did some fun things. But I'm drawing a blank. Like,
honestly,
so like
me too.
we just hung out so much. We didn't have like specific, like tons of specific
We studied
dates.
a lot together. We like went roller skating and stuff.
Yeah, we did
fun.
like some cliche fun things. I will say our first date and the date where I proposed.
That was another question. Was how did you propose?
Okay, so I'll tell the story then. So our first date, I flew Joy up from Fort Lauderdale, where she grew up in Florida, to Cleveland so that she could meet my parents. And I planned like a really nice date. We went to this portion of downtown Cleveland called Little Italy. It's like this really beautiful urban setting with like the architecture is really fun, and it has this really immersive feel.
Oh yeah.
And there was this mandolin player, and I remember, so we got like this like cute Italian dinner
and then we got
restaurant.
avocados.
Yeah, we went to this little Italian bakery, and I remember sitting out on the side of the street outside of this Italian bakery, holding Joy's hand, eating dessert with the mandolin playing in the background. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this feels so correct. and just like, it was a nice sunny summer day in Cleveland. It was beautiful. And then after that, we walked out to the lake, which was like really close to there.
You saw the sunset.
Yeah, we watched the sunset by the lake. So it was really, really wonderful. And then when I proposed, I recreated that date.
So yeah, we did a repeat of our first date for the proposition, engagement,
the proposal.
Yes, there we go. I was like, wait, what's that word?
Got in contact with that mandolin player, and I contracted him to play Canon in D
the
as we
wedding
were walking
song.
out of the coffee shop, out of the bakery.
Bakery, coffee shop,
and
place.
So
yeah,
I proposed then.
it was very fun. Although that time it was in the dead of winter instead of the summer, so it was a little colder. It was a little nippy, but yeah. All right, another question. It's from Rachel.
Oh, okay.
Rachel is a friend of ours.
The other time we recreated that date was with Rachel and Jacob.
It was with Rachel and Jacob. Yeah.
That was another one of my favorite dates of ours.
Yes. Here, I want to set this aside.
Even though it was a double date.
So her question was, if you were a plant, what would you be? Like, to each of us.
That is a good question.
It's a very fun question.
I
was kind of thinking about it. So
of course you were.
Like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a good one. I better start thinking about it now. I feel like when I'm editing this video, I'm gonna come up with something and kick myself for not saying it.
Like, are we talking like our physical characteristics?
You could go that way. A better answer would happen if we think about some of our characteristics that could also be attributed to plants. So like, for you, I feel like people notice you. You're very outgoing and talkative and that sort of thing. You also, like, you thrive on structure. Like, you don't need it, but at the same time, I think he really appreciates structure and consistency and that sort of thing. And he's a very structured thinker and a very organized thinker. Like, most plants prefer consistency, but some plants more than others need it, if that makes sense.
Sure. And Joy got a 4.0, so plants that do well in school would be.
Anyways.
Plants that are maybe like beautiful, or I guess I'm saying that genuinely. I don't know. I don't have as much plant lore to pull from.
I think for you, I could see maybe like a prayer plant, like a Maranta or something like that, because generally, like, they're not too temperamental compared to, like, other plants in the Marantaceae family. They're very beautiful to look at, but, like, people tend to notice them, you know? It was a plant that stood out to me when I first started getting into houseplants, and I really wanted it. I feel like I'm digging a hole. But yeah, I'd say like they prefer consistency and structure is kind of where I was getting at, but like they're also really noticeable. Yeah. Like people notice them and people tend to really like them and think that they're pretty, which like I think that you have a very charismatic personality. So that's what I'm getting at. Like people notice you and you're very likable.
Sure. Well, I mean, thank you.
For me, I feel like a plant that's like more understated and very easygoing would be a plant for me, because like people notice you, they don't really notice me as much.
That's not true.
I feel like it is. Like I feel like once you get really close and get to know me, you might notice the more like nuance in my personality, but from afar I just kind of look like I'm an agreeable piece of cardboard is kind of what I feel like sometimes.
I don't think that's true.
Really? I don't know. That's how I perceive myself.
I think that it has more to do with the fact that you don't feel the need to be the center of attention.
Yeah. And
so you are content.
I'm not very flamboyant.
Like you're more content being, you know, whereas more like most people, their insecurity or like they like to hear themselves talk, and so they tend to put themselves forward. So yeah. I don't think it's that you're not interesting. I think it's more that you don't feel the need to, you know, strong arm yourself into the spotlight.
Yeah.
So maybe a plant that doesn't need direct sunlight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I'm thinking some sort of philodendron probably, because philodendron, like, they appreciate humidity. They can often survive in ambient humidity. They're okay with like not having direct sunlight, sure, or actually really prefer it. And they can be drought tolerant, neglect tolerant, and like not super needy, like relatively easygoing, like most philodendron.
They're dependable and loyal. Those are two choice characteristics for sure.
That's sweet of you. So if I had to, I'd say maybe philodendron micans for me, because like in my experience, philodendron micans is super easygoing, never really needs anything from me. They're sort of more understated from afar. Like it's a trailing philodendron from afar, but then once you get up close, you see the velvety leaves and like the shimmer. They're a little bit more interesting when you're up close and like get to know them well. But from afar, you know, they don't like stand out a ton, I don't think. That's kind of how I feel about myself. Like I'm a little bit more interesting when you get to know me, but generally, I don't really put myself out there. But I don't know. I feel even weird saying that I'm an interesting person. Maybe. I don't know. Interesting. Thank you. I get like self-conscious like talking about myself sometimes in that way. Like I don't like to. I don't know why that is.
The irony is that I don't like prayer plants.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I think they look weird when they're laying down.
Laying down. Yeah. I think they're beautiful.
I just like when they're.
Well, what do you think that you would be?
A bonsai tree.
Really? Okay, I love that.
I don't know why.
I can see that.
So it's like, I can appreciate your approach to this question. My approach is more like, oh, I think that tree is cool. You know, and it's like, oh, that. I would be that tree. Okay, do
you have any ideas for what I would be? Like, my take was philodendron micans, but do you have any?
My first thought was string of hearts because I love you so much. But like, that's just like, it's more cute. It's coming from more of like a dad pun place. Yeah. Than you're taking it more of like if plants had Myers-Briggs personality elements.
Sure.
But like I would say the plants that I have in my office are a good representation of me. I think.
Why don't you pick up the Norfolk pine?
Okay. Is this bad that it's not centered? It's leaning a lot.
Well, actually, so these guys actually get like pups.
I'm sorry.
So like from the bottom.
Is that the technical term for it?
Yes. From the bottom, they'll like sprout more plants. So it has the ability to fill out And once it's not so root bound, maybe it actually will.
Okay, so this last plant before I bring it on.
I don't know if it for sure needs to be repotted. I might try to refresh its soil.
Yeah, it was a rescue. So it has like some trauma, but I've tried to nurse it back to health. I don't think it gets the sunlight that it needs, but it is a
Fuzzy boy.
It's one of these guys.
Norfolk pine.
Norfolk pine.
Norfolk Island pine, actually.
It's like one of these. It sits in a large cache po,
yes,
as the kids say in my office. So as you can see, from this angle, it looks very bad. It used to have a third and fourth little boy coming out. But, this guy we might maybe just take entirely out. It all died.
This soil
and so like you
sucks.
can see like this right here, like this feels to me like completely dead. So I pruned it like quite extensively to try to save the life of the tree. And it worked. Like these top several layers are like lush and green and beautiful. I don't know if you can even see them because they're off camera. But here, maybe I'll just lean it towards you real quick so you can see the part that I'm proud of. Look at that.
It's so happy.
Look at how happy that top part is. But like I sit this one really close to the window, and I think I need to move it back a little bit, or maybe
and that way
send it home to the doctor for an extended stay.
Because like it's just like this top part gets light, but the rest of it doesn't really. So if you pull it back, it might not be as direct of light, but this is like
it's
painful.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Oof. Yeah, so these guys down here, like
honestly, the soil is horrible.
The soil looks just like mud.
Yeah, that's bad. So honestly, I just kind of want to take out the plant and
maybe while it's out, we can
soil.
Take out these sticky boys.
Yeah.
It's sad to me though. Like I feel like I like the plant. I don't know if we can like chop it here and start over.
Actually, I don't have very much
I feel like
experience with that.
I feel like you can't do that with trees.
But I don't know. Maybe I just don't know. I haven't researched it. Okay. Another question is, what does he think of your plant channel?
Not that I want to take credit for the plant channel.
You have been very supportive.
But I have always like. Joy told me before she started the channel, she was like, oh, I always have kind of wanted to do a YouTube channel. And I was like, oh my gosh, then freaking do it. You know, oh, it's so wet. It is so wet.
I'd say this probably needs a smaller pot, actually, and new soil.
Why is it so wet?
Because the soil retains a ton of moisture. It's like straight potting mix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was the question? Oh, the YouTube channel.
I need a vacuum after this.
So I told Joy that she should totally go for it, and like that I would support her 100% because
some of this is rotted, I think.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Poor boy.
Yeah.
Some of it isn't rotted.
Yeah.
On the bright side.
Yeah.
But just because like I think a lot of people.
This is like literal mud.
A lot of people have a lot of things that they say that they want to do, and I, for one, think that Joy is fantastic and that she would be successful like in the things that she wants to do. And so I'm always just trying to encourage her, because especially as someone who like juggles a lot of things, like I remember when she was pregnant with our first, she gave a lot of herself. She was very sick a lot of the time. And so it made me happy to see her doing something that she could enjoy and that she could sort of like not indulge in, but just enjoy doing, like something that helped to break up some of the like difficulty and the pain of some of the things that was coming with being pregnant and being a new mother for her, which being a mom is great and it's a wonderful thing. So like, that's not what I'm saying, but it was just something that she got to enjoy and pour her like creative juices into, which she has so many She has such a creative spirit, and so I, in short, love the plant channel because I love her.
Am I tickling your head?
A little bit, but that's why I'm wearing the hat. I'm very proud of her. I think she's doing a great job.
You're so sweet.
So I love.
Everyone's gonna fall in love with you.
No, please.
Because you're so sweet.
No.
I have like the best husband ever. If you didn't notice.
Oh.
Not to brag.
No, I think it's important in relationships to be a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Of the other person. And I think for a lot of guys, they, like, I was thinking about this the other day. You know that song, like, oh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that song, and I was like, I definitely used to sing that song and, like, get all the good feels from it. But that's kind of, like, very self-centered. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I found someone to sit on the sidelines while I do all of the cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's fine to, like, have someone who is in your corner, which I think is probably the heart of that song. But it's like you need to be in each other's corners, you know? And so I'm very much in Joy's corner. The roots are so sad.
Yeah, most of them came off. So I'm gonna...
This plant is gonna die.
No, not necessarily.
It's gonna die.
I'm gonna pot it in a much smaller pot. This is still probably too big of a pot, but like it's so top heavy that I don't want to put it in like a tiny pot. So.
You want me to do this part?
Yeah.
You want to do one more question?
Yeah. I think I remember that there was one that was like, what's your favorite thing about each other?
Oh.
Which is a very difficult question.
So, favorite things about Joy. I would say, for sure, one of the things that's up there for me about Joy is just, like, her heart for people and her compassion. Joy is one of the best listeners that I've ever met.
Aww.
And it's not because she doesn't have good things to say, but it's because she really cares about people and is interested in hearing people's stories. And that's, like, really wonderful. I mean, that's, like, her ability to listen and to help me make sense of my story has been life-changing for me. You know, like, when you think about the influence that people have had on your life, Joy's compassion has been life-changing for me.
Aww.
So that's an easy one. Also, she folds my clothes for me, which is like very, so like there's like I get a lot out of this relationship.
Yeah.
There's like, I mean, my life would be so much worse.
I mean, same.
Without Joy.
It's a partnership.
Should we take these guys out?
Yeah, we can try to.
Here, I'm gonna see what's happening.
They're very like intertwined with the roots and stuff. Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna need a vacuum after this. It's very pokey.
Maybe I'll just cut this one.
Yeah, try it.
Oh, these scissors are so gross.
There we go.
Oh.
Oh. There we go. So my favorite things about you, that's so hard. I think one good way to articulate it is just that you're really well-rounded. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I would like dream about like what I wanted my husband to be like. I wanted someone that was assertive and outgoing, but also like really kind and gentle. And I also wanted someone that was really fun and like loved to laugh and have adventures, and also someone that was really responsible and would be like a good dad and that sort of thing. And I remember being like, man, I am just not going to be able to find someone that fits all of these criteria, but somehow I did. And like, you're somehow like all of those things, which it's really rare to find all of that in a person, where like, you know, you can stand up for yourself and other people, but you're also like really emotionally intelligent and thoughtful and generous and like all that. So like, just, I mean, obviously I love all of those traits, but also like more than anything, like you're just really
Attractive?
Yeah, that's
No, that's not it.
But yeah, and we like have a lot in common and really connect with each other. And you're one of the like first people that really made me feel heard and listened to after like being the person that would always listen to everyone else. I tend to get interrupted a lot because I'm more soft spoken. But like I remember one of the things that made me, I guess, fall in love with you, or like one of the things that made me really like you was like in a big group of people, I was getting interrupted when I was telling a story, and so I just stopped talking because that's what I was used to doing. But you were still staring at me, and I was like, "What?" And you wanted me to keep going because you were still listening, even though other people had like kind of talked over me and moved on. That made me feel very seen and loved. So
I had a quote on my office door for a long time that said, being known and being loved are so similar that most people can't tell the difference.
yeah.
And that quote always made me remember that experience because we've talked about it so much.
Yeah.
Of just like, how different would the world be if we just took more time to like listen to one another and really get to see the world from the perspective of the other human beings that we traffic with.
Yeah.
So many problems are rooted in our self-centeredness. And so the more that we can listen and understand other people, not only does that help them to feel dignified, not only does it communicate value to them, but like it helps us to respect other people more. So is this not working?
I'm gonna get a stake for it to like see if it'll like hold it up more, because like the way that it
like
is.
A stake, just dangle it right here.
Yeah.
I can't whistle, or else I would whistle.
Oh my goodness. All right, the stake has been acquired.
Do you
I'm
just
glad that
work
we
this
got
with
to-
your hands?
No, I used this pair of scissors. What do you think I am, She-Hulk?
Edward Scissorhands.
Oh my gosh. So that's not too bad. It's just like gonna be awkward because we had to chop away so much, and yeah.
His survivability.
Ouch.
Oh, babe.
Ooh. All right, continue.
I feel like his chances of survival are diminished.
Perhaps, but I have faith in him. Well, before the camera dies, we should probably do an outro.
Well, here they are.
Here they are.
My babies. My plant
Your children. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please feel free to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I'm very awkwardly holding this Norfolk Island pine, and it's gonna fall out of my hands because my hand is cramping.
Oh.
But yeah, I hope that you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye!